Now, now we are going to write a more structured program. So, if you remember in the last time when we were doing this, we just wrote this small program for the work coordinate system. Now, we are going to write a more structured program where we will use some routines. The advantage of using routines is if you want to do repetitive operations or maybe you want to use some logic and then say if this particular condition is satisfied, do this, otherwise do something else, then you can use a routine. So, what I am going to do is I am going to just modify this program a little bit, take few of these lines to a different program called a routine, which is basically like a sub program that we use in the CNC. So, now what I am going to do first is I am going to first of all create 3 routines, going to the routines and I am hitting file, new routine. Okay, I will call this R, let us call circle, then I will create another routine R, let me call it a triangle, and then the third one is R, let me call it a square. A-R-E. Okay. So, once we have all these 4 routines, 3 routines and then the main program as well, which is also counted as a routine by the system. So, we have all these things here. So, now what I will do is I will just go to my main and copy all this into the triangle routine, because that is what we are doing. Another issue is if you want to just get rid of this program and then start doing a new program, many times you will also lose the work coordinate system. So, you will have to again redefine the work coordinate system. So, instead of that I will just select these, copy and paste them. So, I will go to edit and I will hit select range. So, I am selecting right from here to this point and I will hit cut, and then I will go to the routines, I will go to the triangle routine, I will paste it. So, now I have the same triangle here. So, this is done. So, then I will go to the routine for writing for drawing a circle. When I am drawing the circle, I need to add instruction. First of all, I need to move J to the home position. Okay. I can in fact just copy this line. So, I do not need this line anymore. Okay, so, I am just going to the same home position in the beginning, and now I have to draw a circle. So, then when I need to draw a circle, I need to go to a point which is vertically just above the starting point. So, I can still use the same 2 lines here that I used for my triangle. So, I will select range, I will use the 2 lines, I will copy, I will not cut because I still need those lines in the triangle subroutine as well. So, I will go here and I will just paste them. Now, I need to draw a circle. I am at the starting point, then I need to draw the circle. Okay, let me just do this. So, now I will go to add instruction, and instead of move J or move L, I have another command which is move C. So, I am going to use the move C command. Now, the move C command needs 2 points, which is this second point is the end of the one semicircle, and this first point is somewhere on the semicircle. Then again I will use another move C command, so that I can close the semicircle, close the circle. Now, this P110 obviously needs to be my P20, because I want to close the circle. Okay. Once that is done, then I need to go there and I need to teach those positions. So, first I need to go to any intermediary point on the first half of the circle. Any point should be okay, does not need to be the exact center point. Hit debug, hit modify position, and now go to the end point of the semicircle. So, usually when we are writing for a circle, we always write it as 2 semicircles, not one single move C command for the entire circle, because it does not know the diameter. So, we need to always write it as a semicircle, so that it can calculate what the diameter is. Okay. So, now this is the second point. I hit modify position, modify, then I need to teach another point. Okay, modify position, and since we need to close the circle, the second point of this move C command needs to be the starting point of your circle. So, now if you want to check this, if your subroutine is working fine, just go to the routines, show routine, and hit debug. Now, instead of going to PP to main, hit PP to routine, and you have to select the circle. That draws the circle. Okay. So, now once that is done, then we are going to write for a square. So, now I am going to the routines, I am going for a square, show routine, it currently has nothing. So, I will copy paste the old 2 lines that I just copied. If you remember, the one for going to the home position and then from the home position to the first point. Actually, I do not need the first point here, but still I am going to just copy that and I can just delete it. Okay, I do not need this line because it is different. So, I will just delete this line here. Now, I am going to add instruction move j. Now, this point 120 here needs to be exactly vertically above my first point of the square. So, I have this point here, then I will use move L. First of all, when you are in this move j, just make sure that your zone is right, your zone is fine, you are good. Okay, then go to move L. This will be the starting point of your square. Remember this point because we need to again close the square back to this point. Then move L to the next point, then move L to the third point and move L. This needs to be the, let me just see, this is the first point, I am going to the second point, I am going to the third point, then fourth, and this is the final point, which is again 120. Okay, once I have it there, then I am going to go move L and back to this point P10 here. Okay, then I am going back to my home position. So, move j, going back to my P home. Okay, so let me go and now define those points. Okay. So, when I am defining the points here, so first I am going to a point which is directly above the first point of the square. So, whenever you need to go to a point directly above something, it is always easier to first go to that point and then raise the pen up or whatever the tool is. Okay, modify the position here, then go to the starting point of the circle, starting point of the square, modify the position. Then go to the second position, modify it, then go to the third position, modify it, then we will go to the fourth corner, modify that, and this point is again the same point that you have initially taught it. So, then you go to this and then you just make sure that all the zones are fine, everything is okay, and then hit to move home 20 this home position once you have taught everything. Now, let us just run this subroutine, go to routines, show routine, debug, pp2 routine, r square, and I am running the program now. Okay. So, now it is a square. So, we now have 3 different subroutines. Let us try to use the logic and then combine all these subroutines, call each of these subroutines in the main program. Let us do the main program now. So, once we are going to the main program, this is where we need to insert the logic through which we can call each of these subroutines. Before we go for this, we need to also define the output keys with which we can call the logic or use the logic. Now, we have 4 different programmable keys here. Please do not touch the first 2 keys, because the first key is usually assigned for the gripper. The second key is usually assigned for the vacuum of the gripper. Do not touch these 2 things. We will only see the 3 and 4. Now, how do you do this? Go to the main menu and under that go to the control panel. Once you go to the control panel, you go to programmable keys, and now here you have 1 and 2, do not touch them. You have key 3 and key 4, this is what we are going to see. Now, please remember, though it looks like an input when we are touching these, it is not an input for the robot, it is an output for the robot, because using these keys you are exhibiting or you are doing some kind of an action. An input in this case would be, let us say one robot wants to communicate to a second robot, that will become an input. Here in this case is an output. So, we will go to output 3, that is key 3 in the output. See, output 1 uses 15, 2 uses 16. So, other than those 2 channels, we can use any channel that we want. Let us say we are going for output 3, sorry, key 3, and make sure it is in toggle. Toggle is, if you are going to press it once, it is going to take a value, let us say it has a value of 0. If you are going to again press it, it is going to take the opposite value, which is 1. So, it is going to just toggle between 1 and 0. So, now I am going for 2 different outputs here. I am going to select output 10 and I am going to select output 11 for the 4th key. So, output 10 here and output 11 for this key. So, I have assigned these two keys to those digital outputs. Hit OK. Now, go back to your program, and now I want to use the logic. So, for the logic I want to use the if else statements. So, I am going to add instruction and I am going to go for the if statement. Now, under the if statement I need to define what I exactly want, but first let me just cancel it and then go back to the if, hit this if twice, and then here is where you can add else ifs or else. Else will be only once, because if all the other conditions are not satisfied, then this else will come into picture. Else if, you can add any infinite number of else ifs. So, I am going to add one else if and I am going to add an else and hit OK. Now, I am going to select on this expression. Okay, under this expression, now I need to use these two keys which have been assigned to some particular output value. So, I will hit change data type and go to the signal digital output, which will be signal DO. Now, I can select between them. If you remember, we have used key 3 for 10 and key 4 for 11. So, I am going to use key 3. Okay. So, now if this particular output value, I will hit this plus button, which will give me all the different mathematical operations. I will say is is equal to, okay, and I need to change this. So, I will hit edit and I will hit only selected 1. If that particular digital output is equal to 1, and I can also use an AND operator here. You can use AND, you can use OR, depending on the logic and your own requirements. So, I am going to use the second output, signal DO 11. Let us say this is also equal to 1. So, if both the outputs are equal to 1, then maybe I want to draw a circle. So, I will hit procedure call or proc call and I will call a circle. Else if, let us say both are zeros. So, I will hit this, change digital data type the same way, signal DO 10 equal to only selected 0, okay, and I will use an AND operator and change data type DO. So, now I will go for DO 11. This is equal to edit only selected 0. Okay. So, if these two are zeros, then maybe I want to draw a triangle. So, if both are 1, I will be getting a circle. If both are zeros, I will be getting a triangle. What are the other cases? One of them may be 0, one of them may be 1. So, in all the other cases, I want to draw a square. Okay. So, this is my logic. Let me go and run it. So, debug pp to main. Now, the first time I do not know what is the assigned value or what is the current value of my digital output 10 and 11. I will just test it now. Yeah. That is counters. So, I will just turn the motors on and I will run it. So, it is drawing a triangle, it is drawing a triangle, which means what was the logic here again? So, both are zeros right now. It is going to just draw a triangle, that is fine. Now, you need to hit the key before the cycle ends. So, I have hit the key only once. Oh, I did not hit the key once then before it end. I have hit it only once. So, now one of them has been changed to 1, that is why it went for a square. Now, I have hit it again for the second one. So, now it is drawing a circle. Now, I have hit again once. So, now it is drawing a square. So, depending on the logic how you want to change it, you can keep flipping between circles or square or triangle, whatever it is. So, this is how we are going to use the logic in a simple way. Other than the if else, you can also use while. You have like various different options. You can add many more else ifs if you want, or you can only use one. You can use or operator instead of and, or you can use like multiple different operators. So, this is how you are going to use the routines for a simple application.